Welcome to Malifaux University. 405. Summoning. Summoning is an exciting way to add models to your crew after the hiring process during gameplay. Most models cannot summon others, so it is quite likely your first crew or two won't have to deal with this, and depending on your local meta, you may not even see it on the table for some time. It's good to understand it regardless, so you can get it right when you need to use it or deal with it in your opponent's crew. Summoning adds a new model to the crew. The summoned model is friendly to your crew, but does not count as a hired model. As soon as you summon a new model into your crew, your opponent gains a pass token. This is an even increase, so if you summon more than one model at once, like the Dreamer might do with his Manifest Nightmares tactical action, which summons any number of Nightmare minions that don't have the Construct characteristic, then your opponent gains as many pass tokens as models you summon. The exception to this is models you summon that have the Mindless ability, which specifically says no one gains any pass tokens when this model is summoned. If you summon a model with the same name as another model you already hired, you must consider that model's hiring limit. If there is no hiring limit on the model you wish to summon, it is understood to be 1, and you cannot summon another one if you already have the model in your crew in play. If a player already has Ikirio on the table, then Karai's Vengeance Incarnate bonus action, which summons Ikirio to the playing area, would be pointless, since there cannot be more than one Ikirio in play at once. If there is a printed hiring limit like 3 or 5 or 12, you are not allowed to exceed that hiring limit through summoning. Summerteeth Jones can use his Gang Up tactical action to summon as many as 5 Bayou Gremlins, but if there were already 4 on the playing area, he could summon no more than 4 since the Bayou Gremlin hiring limit is 8. If a model to be summoned is a totem, such as Ikirio and Karai Ankoku here, it can be summoned only if its associated master is still in play in the crew, though that master does not have to be the crew leader. If Kurai were hired as a secondary master to her friend, Molly Squidpidge, for instance, Kurai would still be allowed to summon Ikirio. If the Molly player wanted to hire Ikirio at the beginning of the game, she would have to pay the 8 soulstone cost for Ikirio, since a totem is free only when its master is the crew leader. Usually, the action or ability that summons a model will specify where to put the new model, but the new model must still be in line of sight of the model that summoned it. Pandora, Tyrant Torn, has her Woe Is Me tactical action that summons a Woe keyword minion into base contact with the target. While that target model may be up to 10 inches away, the summoned model must wind up in line of sight of Pandora. If she used this action on the size 4 Malisaurus Rex with a 50mm base, she could not place her summoned model directly behind the beast, since she would not have line of sight to it. Another interesting example is found in the Labor Contract ability on Anya Lycarian Rail Magnate, which lets every Syndicate keyword member of her crew summon a Drudge model into base contact with a dropped scheme marker. The summoned Drudge must be in line of sight of the Syndicate model that dropped the marker, but not necessarily Anya Lycarian, because she's not the one summoning the model. It's just her ability that allows it to happen. If the game effect doesn't say otherwise, the summoned model is placed into base contact with the model that summoned it. If Terra uses From the Void to summon a couple of Void Wretches, they both go into base contact with Terra since there is no other range or placement specified by the action. Regardless of where the card says to put the summoned models, if they cannot be placed legally, because the target is surrounded by impassable terrain or other models, for instance, then the summoned models are not added to the game and the summon effect is lost. Usually, when a model is summoned, the game effect that summons it will require a summon upgrade to be attached to the model. Read these upgrades carefully, as they may give the models unique abilities or actions, conditions, or special placement rules. Dashel Barker's Call in Reinforcements tactical action summons guard keyword minions, and each is placed on the table with a Reinforcements upgrade attached. Looking at the upgrade card, we see the Reinforcements limitation printed in the bottom right corner, so we know we have the right upgrade. Sometimes there is more than one upgrade with the same limitation, and that is addressed in video 406 about upgrades. The summon limitation shows this upgrade is indeed a summon upgrade, so all rules that mention summon upgrades will apply to this model and upgrade. The Dreamer has the Manifest Nightmares tactical action that summons nightmare keyword minions with a summon upgrade called Waking Dream. Both Waking Dream and Summon are printed under the limitations, but this upgrade buries the minion when it is summoned and gives it the From Nightmares ability to show when it is unburied. In the earlier example of Anya Lycarian, Rail Magnate, and her Labor Contract ability, which allows her crew to summon Drudge models, the ability does not say the Drudges attach a summon upgrade. When this happens, the summoned model gains a summon token, which counts as an upgrade for all game effects that specifically reference summon upgrades. If a game effect just refers to upgrades in general, a summon token does not count. If a summoned model is later replaced, the summon upgrade or token that came with the summoned model transfers to the new model that replaces it. Any other upgrades that were attached later or during hiring are discarded and do not move to the new model. Sandeep Desai is in an encounter with Jack Daw. Sandeep started out with one Fire Gaiman, but Jack has attached an Injustice upgrade to the Gaiman, which gives it the staggered condition as long as it has the upgrade. Sandeep summons two more Fire Gaiman with his Elemental Creation tactical action. The two Gaiman come into play with a Bound Elemental upgrade attached, which is a summon upgrade and gives them each slow, but also gives them an ability to replace the three of them with a single Fire Golem. When the Golem is placed, the summon upgrade is attached, giving it slow, but the Injustice upgrade is discarded. Take note of the plentiful limitations on summon upgrades. If summoning a model would attach an upgrade but exceed its plentiful limitation, then that's treated the same as trying to hire more than a model's hiring limit. If an upgrade doesn't have a plentiful limitation, then only one copy of that upgrade is allowed in the crew. The Fire Gaiman have a hiring limit of 3, so if Sandeep already had 3 on the table, he could not summon a 4th. Since the Bound Elemental upgrade's plentiful limitation is increased to 5 when Sandeep is the crew leader, he could summon 3 Fire Gaiman and 2 Wind Gaiman, and this upgrade would be attached to all of them. He would not be able to summon another Gaiman at all, since a 6th would exceed the upgrade's plentiful limitation. I'll take a brief moment now to thank all those who were patrons at the time this video was made, especially Griff, Sergey, Tom, Alan, Jeremy, Mikolai, and Travis, and many more at the free student tier. Your support is essential to bringing these videos to life. There are some important considerations and rules to observe when summoned models are used in an encounter. In the turn it is summoned, a summoned model cannot take the interact action for any reason. Also in that turn, you cannot count summoned models for friendly strategies or schemes. Some strategies and schemes need models to engage other models, to be in a certain part of the playing area, or to be near a piece of terrain. In the turn you summon a model, it is basically invisible when it's time to score your strategies and schemes, but in the following turns, it will count normally. Of course, your opponent might immediately use your model for his strategies or schemes that require killing or engaging a model, but that's a risk you take when summoning models. Finally, summoned models can never interact with strategy markers at any time in the encounter. This is why it is important to remember which models are hired and which are summoned during the game, which is why summon upgrades and tokens can be handy to keep visible. In the Gaining Grounds tournament rules, one difference is found regarding summoned models. While summoned models in the core rules can never interact with strategy markers, the Gaining Grounds rules specify that having a summon upgrade or token is what keeps a model from interacting with the strategy marker. If a summoned model were to somehow lose its summon upgrade, such as from Lady Legea's Take It All trigger, which allows the target to discard an attached upgrade, it would then be eligible in a Gaining Grounds encounter to interact with a strategy marker. That's the overview of summoning. Pick up a printable set of all the markers and tokens you need to play Malifaux in the Wargames Vault. If you haven't already, join our Patreon for early, ad-free access to all new content. And be sure to visit the Malifaux University gift shop for the latest in Malifaux-themed shirts, hoodies, drinkware, and more. Links are in the notes below. And remember, play friendly games, keep it simple, and have fun.